morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, June 19th, 2023. Let's begin with a greeting. Chanji Chamba Manemke Kyungbe. Oh. Kajang Mengse. Kajang Mengse. Mrs. Thompson.
All right, okay, let's join me. 가정면세. Okay, 1. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 전신하고 보연 따로 찾아 보연의 찬조 이상인 지산정구와 전산정구를 정강하는 것으로 맹세하나이다. 2. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 전신하고 하늘 부모님과 짬부님을 모시어 전조의 대표적 가족이 되어 준신적 가족이 되어 가족에서는 효자, 국가에서는 준신, 세계에서는 성인, 전주에서는 선조의 가족의 노력으로 완성할 것으로 맹세하나이다. 3. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 준신하고 4대 신정공과 3대 원공과 완전권으로 완성할 것으로 맹세하나이다. 3. 저희는 주인 우리 가정 찬사라를 준시하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이사인 전주대 가족으로 형상하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것으로 맹세하나이다. 5. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 중심하고 매일 조제적 전산세계와 대산적 지산세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 적지할 것으로 맹세하나이다. 6. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 짬부님의 대신 가족으로서 저희는 무진능 가족이 되어 하늘의 축복을 저희의 용기를 지키는 가족을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 중심하고 보연의 연단과 연대를 위한 위하는 생활을 통하여 심전우화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 저희는 조인 우리 가정 찬사라를 중심하고 저희는 때를 맞이하여 절대시란 절대법적으로 시린의 일제 이상을 이루고 지산정구와 전산정구의 해방, 건반, 석방군으로 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
맹세하나이다. Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. All right, I would like to call upon Jeffrey Q. If you could lead us in prayer, please.
Good morning, Holy Community, brothers and sisters. Please join me in prayer. Our dearest, loving Heavenly Parent, true parents, heaven and earth, humankind, we are so grateful that we come together in one accord to listen once again to your words that help us grow every day. And I pray that this week we are hearing with really we can embody it, Heavenly Parent, and pray that make it open our hearts and mind to receive it, Heavenly Parent. Please protect our true mother, give them more strength, power, energy, in good health, and all our leaders in different organizations of our church, all the GPA and stuff. We just arrived last night, then in the graduation of all the GPAs, first year, third year, second year, third year, Holy Parent. Really wonderful to see those young people dedicated their life uh, for, for the advancement of your providence, Father. That pray that they could truly go back to their respective homes to practice what they've learned and share it to their friends, to their neighbors, classmates, whatever they were doing, Holy Parent. We thank you for this chance that we could be together once again. We offer this prayer now in our names. Jeffrey and Erling Kilates, blessed family. Jew.
Jew.
Sorry, I just
All
like that.
right. Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, everybody, let's go straight into our groups and share the gratitude. Yeah, coding in progress.
You can tell them.
Huh?
God's walking through my husband.
So yesterday I mentioned at Sunday service that on Saturday I had planned to go to a soccer game. I haven't been to a game for a long time. I was feeling antsy. So I was going to go to the game on Saturday. Then Gabby contacted me and said, "We're having a gathering of the newly blessed couples. Can you come?" So, okay. So I didn't go to the soccer game. Then one second generation boy from out of town, he went, while the sermon was going on, he went online and bought me 2 tickets for next week's game. So God is alive. So nobody contact me on Saturday. My phone is, I'm turning off my
You have a
phone.
meeting? No.
No meeting. No meeting.
Mhm.
Anyway, God is good. Also, then somebody else from Seattle, Dimitri, he offered us tickets to the Alameda County Fair. He's selling something at the fair, so he gave us tickets to the fair. So yesterday was a good day. God is alive. All right. Who would like to share their gratitude this morning?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, today, Susan.
Susan.
Mark and I were in the breakout room with Bill Bechtel and Maria from Colombia. So I don't know if they're still on. Maria's from Colombia, and I think it was Michael Bentoncourt was there with her in Colombia,
Mm.
just to
Wow.
recognize them. But
Yes, indeed.
I don't know if they can unmute or it's that easy, but just to let you know they're with us.
All right. Welcome from Colombia. My,
Well, my daughters went.
yeah, our daughter just went to Colombia last night.
Oh.
Okay. Welcome, Michael and Maria. How about Jeffrey?
Yeah, I just want to share my how you call that experience, really nice experience going to New York, attended the GPA.
Mm.
Yeah, we went there separately, flight with my wife and me, and my 3 kids are separated, you know, they go with another airlines where they fly with the Spirit and we fly with the United. But anyway, we're supposed to arrive there, Newark at the same time, but their flight was delayed.
Oh.
Spirit, they were delayed and they were booked for next day. But anyway, we're supposed to spend it together as a family. It's Friday because the graduation is Saturday. But we did not because their flight was delayed. So we had the chance to date together with my wife, first time. We never, because of a busy schedule, a different schedule. So we took that chance to visit the National Museum, Times Square, and the Ground Zero together with my wife. First time, yeah. Okay, we had a great time. And yeah, the next day we attended the graduation for GPA. And I'm really grateful that I went because I saw the historical building, you know, like the UTS. And yeah, went around, took a picture. My daughters guided me because they've been there for many years because of GPA. They graduated. So I visited Trumaro's Pond in the morning. We walked together and the trails and yeah, took a picture. And I'm kind of like in tears because it's gonna be long gone. UTS I don't know. I heard it's been sold. So yeah, it's the first time to go there. And yeah, we came back from walking, and I got a tick, almost bit me in my when I went to my dormitory. We checked in there actually. Slept 2 nights in UTS. There was like crawling in my ears.
Oh my
Almost bit me actually, the tick.
God.
But anyway, fortunately, before it bit me, I just took it out. Oh, scary, because I heard they carry Lyme disease commonly, but not all. Yeah, that's very fortunate, and yeah, grateful for the experience. Grateful for all the GPAs and stuff. They're fired up. They are really grateful for GPA program. They make our second gen understood two mothers' heart, two parents' heart. Yeah, very deep, and I hope they can um, go back to their home with their still fired up and keep their motivation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you and God bless. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah. If you fly Spirit, you go with the Spirit. You might get there, you might not.
Yeah, hi.
All right. And
Good morning. Excuse me. Yesterday, I finished a condition I was doing, and I feel that because I was successful in my condition, that I was able to have this feeling and experience that I had yesterday. And so yesterday in the Bay Area, you know, when we were upstairs in the dining area, you know, our Filipino family, I'm so grateful for them. They really teach us how to party. Everything's a party. So it's a lovely thing. And they brought out these 2 cakes for the fathers. And, you know, as I sat there and I was watching all the brothers and they were having their pictures taken. And I mean, it was just such a wonderful family feeling and a pride of the dads and everything. And then later on, I started having this feeling, and I really feel it's only because I completed my condition, because don't think I would have ever thought of this, but I longed for the day that we can really have a Father's Day for our Heavenly Father, and to be able to really have such a celebration that he's never been able to experience. And I just really felt that, you know, one day we're going to be able to do that. And it really, really made me feel longing for that day to be able to celebrate Father's Day with our Heavenly Parent who's never been able to really have that feeling only through other people, but how can we just go to him and share that? But that's all I want to share.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Filipinos will organize that party. No doubt about that.
So the Chinese also party, not party, gathering.
Yes. Yeah. Chinese gathering at church also yesterday.
Yeah, many people.
Busy day. All right. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone.
Wave your hand if you want to.
Let's go to our reading.
Oh, there's somebody.
Mother of Peace, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. A memoir by Hak Jahan Moon. Chapter 2, I came into this world as the only begotten daughter. On Jeju, as she had everywhere, my mother led me on the path of sainthood for the Lord, with no thought of worldly matters, and this fit my emerging personality very well. I read biographies of holy women and devoted myself to the ideal of complete purity in preparation to receive my calling as a daughter of God. Once settled in Sogwipo, I enrolled in Shinhyo Elementary School as a 5th grader. At the age of 11, while my classmates were running around and playing, I lived a rigorous and strict life of faith. With my grandmother and mother, I devoted myself to prayer, study, and worship. My mother soaked flattened barley in water and added it to radish kimchi for her raw food diet, while I ate millet porridge. Even though weak due to nutritional privation, when she saw farmers working the barley fields, my mother could not resist helping with the plowing. If she saw someone having difficulty carrying a load, she would volunteer to carry it for them. Without her saying a word, people were filled with admiration. I've never met such a thoughtful person, one village woman would say to another, who would respond, "That's what I'm saying. I heard she's a regular churchgoer, but still, she is so different from the others." My mother lived the exemplary life of an authentically religious person, always putting her faith into practice by helping others. She studied the Bible and shared with me the teachings of the Holy Lord Church and the inside the womb church that Jesus would return as a man in the flesh, just as he had come 2,000 years ago, that he would find his holy bride and hold the marriage supper of the Lamb, as the Bible prophesies, and that all this would take place in Korea. From her, I learned the meaning of Jesus' second advent and could imagine it and taste and touch it. And from my mother, I learned the meaning of true discipleship. My uncle, who had rescued us at the outbreak of the Korean War, married at the end of that war, and grandmother Jo went to live with him and his new bride in Seoul. Within a few months, she was longing to see her daughter and granddaughter, and she came to visit us on Jeju Island. While she was with us, my uncle was posted to the city of Chuncheon, some 50 miles northeast of Seoul. He sent us an abrupt but clear message. Please wrap up your life on Jeju and move to Chuncheon. Grandmother Jo urged us to comply, saying softly, with the pleading eyes of a loving matriarch, "My only pleasure in life is to have Hakcha nearby and take care of her every day." That was it. In February 1955, we all three departed Jeju, bound for Chuncheon. My mother rented a small room for us in the Yaksadong neighborhood, and my grandmother lived with my uncle's family nearby. I enrolled in Bonggi Elementary School and soon entered the 6th grade. On the school grounds stood a big sycamore tree, its circumference greater than I could reach around. I read books under its abundant shade in the hot weather. There was a coal briquette factory next to the school, and my shoes would be covered with black soot when I walked past. All this springs out fresh in my memory. In the next year, 1956, I graduated from elementary school. I was 13 and received my graduation certificate after having attended 4 different schools. Though I had been a student at Bonggi but 1 year, I was honored at the graduation ceremony with an award for doing well in my studies. God finally responded to my mother's ceaseless prayers and pleadings. His care for her once again was extended through Jung Sok-jeon, our friend from the Holy Lord Church. Mr. Jung remembered the last words of his late mother, the Holy Lord Church founder, Reverend Kim Song-do. If someone fails to accomplish what God has entrusted him to do, it must be accomplished through someone else. The group to which the Lord is coming will be accused and slandered as a sex cult. Its members will be persecuted and imprisoned. If you hear of such a church, know that it may be the true church and that you should personally investigate it and decide for yourself. So Mr. Jung diligently traveled the country to participate in revival meetings. He did not find what he was looking for until May 1955, when he read in the Dong Ilbo, a Seoul newspaper, about an incident at Ua Women's University. 5 Ua professors had been fired from the faculty for joining a group called the Unification Church led by a man they called Teacher Moon, and 14 students had been expelled from the same school for the same reason.
Sensing the spirit of his prophetic mother, Mr. Jong sent a letter with the newspaper clipping to his older sister in Busan. His sister took a look at the clipping and, without thinking twice, booked passage to Seoul with her daughter. They arrived and found their way to the Jangchungdong headquarters of the Unification Church, but were unable to meet its leader at that time. The members told her the location of the Unification Church in Busan, and she returned home. From there, she informed her younger brother what had happened and that there was another Unification Church branch in Daegu. Jung Suk-jeon visited the church in Daegu, listened to Divine Principle lectures, accepted its teachings, and joined. Then, out of the blue, 10 days later, the local group was sent reeling. On July 4, Teacher Moon and several of his church members were incarcerated at Sodaemun Prison in Seoul. Mr. Jung traveled to Seoul to visit Teacher Moon in prison. In that visit, he received inspiration and encouragement. Mr. Jung knew that he had found the one whom Jesus had sent. Some 3 months later, on October 4, Teacher Moon was acquitted of all the charges for which he had been imprisoned. At that point, Mr. Jung secured his family's support in Daegu and moved to Seoul to devote himself full-time to God's will. After his release from Sodaemun, Teacher Moon visited Daegu. At that time, I was 12 years old, living with my family in Chuncheon, several hours north of Daegu. One morning, my mother told me that she had a dream of cuddling a white dragon in her arms. She did not know what the white dragon symbolized, nor what it meant to cradle it in her arms, but she said that something earth-shaking was about to transpire. That very day, she received a letter from Mr. Jong about his meeting the Divine Principle movement and meeting Teacher Moon in prison, and who Teacher Moon is, and that Teacher Moon was in Daegu. My mother left for Daegu immediately, only to find that Teacher Moon had returned to Seoul. My mother felt deep regret, and while staying overnight in Daegu, she had another dream. In it, she saw a pair of golden dragons frustrating themselves in the direction of Seoul. With this vision carved into her heart, she took the train to Seoul the next morning and proceeded to the Unification Movement's newly purchased headquarters church in Chompadong. It was early in December 1955. There, she met the teacher of the Unification Church for the first time. The moment she greeted him, she realized that the white dragon in her dream represented none other than him, and that he was the one she had been seeking. She was deeply moved to meet in her lifetime on earth the Lord at the Second Advent, for whom she had suffered and sacrificed for 3 decades. She stayed at Chompadong to study the principle and her teachings that put together what she had learned in the Holy Lord Church and inside the Womb Church. With each lecture, her eyes were open and her initial inspiration was confirmed. At times, she pondered the meaning of her dream of the pair of golden dragons. Not coming up with anything, she put that out of her mind. Despite my mother's admiration of him, and in contrast to his affectionate openness with everyone else, Teacher Moon related to my mother in a formal and reserved fashion. As a result, she felt empty and a little bit isolated, with a feeling of lack of love lodging in her heart. She invested her in prayer silently, without rest, erasing from her soul all the concepts and expectations she may have had about whom she was going to meet. Then one Sunday, Teacher Moon preached a sermon about the heart of Jesus. He said, "The people of Israel did not welcome Jesus, who came as their true father. They allowed him to die on the cross," and asked the congregation, Do you know how great was the sin they committed? Upon hearing this, my mother withdrew into a corner of the church. There she wept, crying her heart out for the remainder of the service. Teacher Moon viewed this, and after the service, he called to my mother and consoled her, saying, "A person anointed by God must pass the test of Satan as well as that of heaven." At that, like the snow melting in springtime, all sorrow disappeared from my mother's heart. Her faith in God became stronger than it ever was. Soon thereafter, she returned to Chuncheon to commence pioneer work for the Unification Church. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Youngju and Karen. Beautiful reading. Next we'll go into the marriage supper of the Lamb. Mother meets true father and gets blessed. All right, wonderful. Let's go to our group and discuss what we heard from the reading.
Mm.
All right, welcome back. Hope you had a good sharing about that reading, how Damon was able to join the church. Who would like to share their reflection this morning? You can sit in silence.
Hi, I'd like to share.
Oh, who is that?
Hi, I was so taken by how they came to the church because they heard that it was a sex cult. They heard
Yeah.
that they heard all the negative things.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's crazy because
Yeah.
before we go out to a restaurant, we always look at the reviews. And I mean, if the reviews said the food is terrible, we wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
But yet here it's just the opposite, that they understood intuitively that the media or the satanic world is naturally going to condemn God's way or God's representative. So it was such an interesting way that they were led to our true parents through that negative example. I was very taken by that.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Let's find
Mm.
let's find the negative place. All right. Okay, Steve Bowley.
Yeah, good morning.
Honey.
I was really touched, and moved. Just the life that True Mother and Damon have led. True Mother reading the works of the women saints, right? The nuns and the women in history who have laid the foundation of heart, right? For True Mother, for Damon to be born, and just it's in the midst of a war-torn country, right? Soaking barley in water. I mean, dear God, barley is as hard as a rock, and then to live on that, and then to overcome it with gratitude, putting it in radish, and just the life that she led. And then in the midst of her weakened body, she overcame everything with gratitude and with love. I was just reflecting on the many experiences I had with Damon in Champyong. I spent a lot of time there, and I'd be in front of her personally, or I'd meet her in a hall, and just the one thing I felt was just total unconditional love, a grandmother's love. And yeah, I'm just so thankful for the foundation that Damon laid of heart. And that True Mother is just such an incredible embodiment of that, yeah, that's what touched me today.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damon was really
Amazing.
searching for the second advent and ready to jump on a bus or a train to go find him wherever he is. Yeah, pretty amazing. Thank you. How about June?
Yeah, it's amazing. She just persevered, despite her unanswered prayers for years and years in the middle of her country being ripped to shreds. And wow, so she's an amazing, and also like helping people when she's really, really weak herself. So also the part that really stood up for me was like how she raised Mother. Mother said that from her mother she learned the meaning of like of discipleship. So I'm thinking, I'm really I always cue in on the parts where like about the parenting, because that's some really big thing with me. So how Mother read those biographies of the saints, and yeah, learning. So I think my focus as a grandparent also, I have to kind of go in that I I have to teach the meaning of true discipleship through my example, and also like external education, like reading books and sharing sharing everything that I've learned and giving it all away to my kids. and anybody else. I mean, of course, the people that we witness to.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It says, mother said, my mother lived the exemplary life of an authentically religious person, always putting her faith into practice by helping others. That's a good example for us all. All right, how about Denise?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Sincere devotion moves heaven. I think it's Dr. Young that used to say that. And I think this was a great example of, Demonim feeling neglected by True Father. And she turned to prayer and devotion. And because of that, she could pass the test and passed it in such a beautiful way by being moved by the story of Jesus and feeling repentant about that. And then Father could acknowledge her. And that was it. Sometimes we go through a lot in our lives of faith. But what it taught me this morning is that as long as you have the sincere heart of devotion and rely on Heavenly Parent, the victory will come. And that's one of my takeaways. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Denise. Yes, very good. How about Stephen Machiko?
Yeah, I mean, it's what's the difference? What's the dividing line between those who get spiritual inspiration but then can't go the way? I mean, my mind went to John the Baptist immediately. What an incredible lineage, what an incredible family, the family of Zechariah. Jesus was his cousin. God gives him the revelation. Jesus is the one. You should follow him. And immediately he does. And then his physical mind or whatever takes over and he starts questioning. And he loses his whole foundation. And what's the dividing line? Last year, we were witnessing to this family, and Pakistani family, Christian family, who had been moved to Philippines for religious freedom. And the father had the revelation that the Messiah was coming and he should prepare. So the whole family was waking up 3 o'clock in the morning, doing prayers and devotions. And all of a sudden we came along and started, sharing with them about the blessing and about true parents. And they cut us off within 2 weeks. They couldn't receive it. And we were kind of dumbfounded because we felt, geez, these people were so prepared. They were so devoted, but something was missing, So how could Daimonim really desire to meet the Messiah? She does, and she accepts it. What's the dividing line between somebody like that and say Ho Bin, who also received that revelation, was in the same prison as True Father, but couldn't receive it?
Yeah.
So that's something I think, makes me really reflect how do I stay steady and like a rock, Yeah. So anyway, just reflections. So
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Steve. Condolences on your brother yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, Sam Holly.
Okay, yeah. One thing that strikes me is just that there's always, we've got our connection to God, and then personal feelings are always coming in there along with it. And, you can't help but having little expectations of how things are going to be. Daimonim arrives, she meets the Lord in the second advent after all these trials, and he's treating everyone else very warmly, and he's treating her coldly. And the question there is just like, okay, which is more important? Is it my personal feeling, which anybody would have at that point? Or is it just my connection to God? And I think it was kind of similar to what Ho Ho Bin went through, because she had staked her whole life on following these revelations that she was receiving. She had staked her faith, her faith. She was ready to die for her faith. And she had a very personal stake in that. Her personal feelings got wrapped up in that. And then when she got this message from True Fathers saying, renounce your faith, which is the last thing she would want to do in that moment. Personally, that's the last thing she would ever want to do. But that was the test right there. Can she stay only with what God is telling her to do? Or does she let the feelings that her personal feelings about what she's doing get wrapped up in it? I think it's like a little bit like the same reason why Father would always be changing leaders. A leader would be in one place and be really successful, and Father would just drop them out of that position and put them somewhere else, or put them like way low, because it's just inevitable. If you're in a leadership position for a while, you start thinking, well, this is my church, and this is my position, and this is my car, and this is my congregation. You start thinking of it as yours and not God's. And I think it's a little bit like what we go through. I mean, heck, I failed that in my daily life all the time, because I thinking about my children as being God's. Yeah, that's a really hard perspective. It's a battle to maintain it, to keep that perspective above your own personal feelings, because you get habituated, you get used to stuff. Anyway, that's the nature of the test. And it's really, it's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, I think if you think of yourself as just myself, it's impossible to pass a test like that. But if you understand you're a historical figure, and you have to make up for what other people couldn't do. Because I think the thing with John the Baptist, there was probably, this rift between Elizabeth and Mary and what happened. I think there was probably this thing of like in the family, like, we don't talk about Jesus. We don't talk about Mary. Something terrible happened. We don't go there. And so John the Baptist just had this feeling about Jesus, like he's not quite right. There's not something not good about him. Anyway, that's kind of my own speculation, but
right.
Yeah, the personal feelings. This is the part that we don't always hear about, but that's why it's so wonderful to get these autobiographies that are teaching us so clearly what people went through to be able to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Watch out for those personal feelings. It can take you the wrong direction if you're not careful. Thank you, Sam. All right. Thank you, everybody. Caroline?
I just want to say how much I appreciated all the comments today. And I do really like being able to have a discussion right after we do the reading, because when we have the testimony or something like that first, then you forget what it is, or you forget the feelings or the insights that you receive from the reading. So I really gained a lot from today's insights of everybody. So thank you very much and have a great day.
All right.
That's right. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Good sharings today. All right. Thank you, everybody. And interesting that Caroline was the last speaker, because I had planned to ask her to do the prayer at the end.
Oh, okay. I'm honored for that. Thank you so much. Okay, let's bow our heads in gratitude and just unspeakable appreciation for you, true parents, and Heavenly Parent, and most of all for our brothers and sisters. Please be with each one of us today. Please allow us to really always have you center of our mind and our hearts, Heavenly Parent, that we can always acknowledge and make you part of our day, because we know that's what you're seeking. That's what you want. And Heavenly Parent, we want that too. but we just have to always fight the battle, as we say, to keep ourselves centered on you. Please be with Pat Deflison as she ascends, Heavenly Parent, such a beautiful sister. We're so grateful for her contributions and for the contributions of each and every person here. Thank you so much for this day. Please guide us, be with us, and we offer all of this in our collective names of Blessed Central Families and the family of Michael and Caroline Bettencourt. Blessed Central Family. Adieu and amen.
Adieu. Thank you, Caroline. All right. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Have a great Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, family.
Bye. Have a good day.
Have a blessed day. God bless all.
Bye. Blow your nose.
Yeah.
Everybody, God bless you.
We are one
God
family
bless.
after all.
Yeah.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. Mabuhay.